last week we spoke about the fact that this society has been up 15 years and it still hasn't brought the desired result. That once a person becomes part of this society, then he receives spiritual attainment. Why, when building this system, will we attain what we haven't attained in this society for 15 years? When we gather together with these short actions like conventions, congresses, so in such conventions, then we somehow receive this impression, this uplifting, the influence of the environment on a person. And here, out of routine, out of being used to it already, then a person loses that sensation. A newcomer who arrives here, he's influenced from the society. He wants to be influenced and he is influenced. And then the society stops working on a person and he doesn't have anything to nullify himself towards and to work towards. And it's felt as a result. As a result of the years that we've been here, this society compels a person to advance. If it doesn't advance him, it doesn't compel him to advance, doesn't pressure him, that's a problem. Now, of course, we have to work on our inner environment here, on this society here, that we're connected physically, but we already understand that to the extent that we arrange ourselves externally, it also arranges us internally. Like the example that children turn the people into parents. Taking care of them forces you to change. And to the extent that we will build this general system, even though we're still searching and we're still seeking, but that will build us. We will know what we are missing. Because if I'm going to build a system now, closed society, closed meaning closed through the connection between everyone, not closed from the outside, that I'm going to build it, then I start learning what I'm lacking, what there needs to be there, in which way, in which state, in which relation towards others. Meaning, by building this system, that will put me into different types of connections towards the others. And that is the hope that we will be compelled to change. We see that in the way we're existing now, if we're not truly in it, then we're not changing. The environment doesn't build and force each and every one to be through this inner work, through the connection with the others. The society doesn't force towards aravut. A person isn't attracted to it naturally or instinctively. He escapes from it. He wants to run away from this. And now our work, after we've been through the foundations of the wisdom of Kabbalah, now for the first time we're going through the Zohar, and we need to bring ourselves towards engaging in the social aspects permanently. That I'm constantly engaging in the fact that I'm building and improving my environment bettering my attitude towards it and expecting it to influence me. That's our dissemination. That's our entire factory. That's the form that each and every one has to think about. How he can participate in this system. So it turns out that all of us will engage in it. Not that we build a group, that the group builds the system, but whatever happens, there will happen. That we're disseminating this for the world. That's not true. We're doing this in order to play around with this, to engage in it. And this system will force us to be in connection with one another. We're building ourselves a game that will compel us to reach our Vut. That's the need. In congresses, when we take part in it, then we see it works, but when we return to our environment, then it stops working, and even worse. We need just to give each and every one in what we're engaging here in the factory, that it will all go through the system in such a way that each one will have an obligation, a burden, such participation that will attract him, that will pull him towards Arvut. By this virtual system, we want to cause ourselves such connections that will compel us to come closer to one another in mutual spiritual guarantee. That each and every one will have, he'll be obliged to take part in this system and to prefer it, to be in it. And by that he'll find answers for himself and for others. And by doing so, a person will return to this connection and to his obligation to improve it, to improve this connection.